What's up, girlfriends? Welcome to Girlfriend Therapy Podcast. Can you guys believe that we are winding down now? I thought this was episode 50, but it's actually episode 49. So
Ooh.
we're almost there, though. We're getting there slowly but surely. And you guys know I've been talking to some of the most beautiful, some of the most amazing women. This has been an absolute pleasure for me. So I hope you guys are enjoying it as well. And today I have the beautiful Miss Darria Boyd. I'll tell you how we met, but I want to read her bio first. So let me get her bio first. There we go. There we go. So being a mom of two children with autism has taught Darria that life comes with the unexpected, and the purpose to life is to keep living and enjoying the moment. Her daily mottos are, it's game time, grind time, and autism is not my life, it's a part of my life. Prior to forming the Autism Grind, Darria was a former Division I collegiate athlete and an executive of her own management company for over 15 years. This provided her with a mental toughness and created the foundation of always having a game time attitude, which is always thinking, strategizing, and being up for any challenge. It is her commitment to build an inspiring platform that will stimulate the interest and awareness of autism throughout the world. She believes the Autism Grind can be a monumental asset to families learning to cope with the daily challenges of caring for a loved one with autism and understanding the importance of helping others during their journey. You have to awake your mind and live. So when you are with the loved ones, you are mentally present to persevere in doing your best. Don't end your story in defeat. Let's go. It's game time. The Autism Journey is a part of my story. It was a part of your story. I loved your bio so much. And I was telling you, before we started, I wanted to read it verbatim because there's so much in there that tells so much about yourself, right? Mom of two children with autism, a Division I athlete, an executive manager of your own management company, like all of these things about you, and not only those things about you, but also the models and the things that you live by, and how all of that culminated, prepared you, if we can say prepared, for the life that you have now. And I love the I don't know if it's organization, the Autism Grind. I will call it just your organization. I love that, and I also want to hear more about that. But I want to point everyone also to your Facebook group, the Autism Grind. So I want to encourage you guys, before we even get into the conversation, follow her group, join her group. We talked a little bit about it. I'm sure we'll hear more about it in our conversation. But welcome, Darria. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Well, thank you. Thank you. It's about time,
Yes. And now I have to tell you guys. So Darria and I literally just met maybe a couple of weeks ago at this women's little gathering that, that was my second time going there. And I love it so much because I'm just meeting some amazing women. And I've had not just Darria, but another young lady that I met near, was a guest on the podcast as well. So I share that to say that when you meet new people, getting to learn them, or know about them rather, is always exciting. And when you did your introduction, I immediately was like, I need to have her on my podcast. Not only was your energy infectious, but your story was just so inspiring, I think. And I think a lot of our Girlfriend Therapy listeners could really benefit from just hearing your story. So I want to kick it over to you, and you can start your story wherever you want. But there's so much. But I'll kick it over to you, and then I'll ask questions about some of the areas that I want to talk about.
Well, it's a lot. So what we're going to do, we're going to do a dialogue, because I'm told that I talk too much.
I love it.
Not to take over the show.
Right.
So I'm learning. I'm learning to, coexist with everyone else. You know what I mean? Because I can take it from here and take it to the end. Okay. So what we can do, maybe you want to ask me some questions on how you want to do that, but I can start it off with my intro and respond to the bio, and then we can go from there. Okay.
That sounds perfect. That sounds perfect.
Okay. See, I'm already changing things up. I'm trying to tell you.
Listen,
you gotta keep me in the pocket. You gotta keep me in the pocket, because they tell you, but that comes from, as you stated in my background, my bio, excuse me. I am a former Division I athlete, and I played basketball. I attended the Howard University. HU is in the house. Okay. Now, I played point guard. So when you play point guard, you are the leader. Okay. You are the motivator. You are everything. You are the coach, and you have to strategize. You got to make quick decisions, So basketball itself equipped me with life skills that I tell people that set me up for my livelihood.
Right.
And as I say, success. And when I say set myself up, especially this journey as an autism mom.
Yes.
Okay. Not with one, but with two. Okay. And I'm told that I was meant to be an autism mom. Not that I wanted it, but this was the hand that was dealt to me.
Right.
Okay. So, when people, state that and they ask me, were you ever ready? I mean, it is what it is. Because again, basketball is game time. You got to be ready at all times. So you have to have instincts. You got to be able to learn from your mistakes. You got to be able to, adapt to the defenses, and change your offense. So it's in the midst of the game, you're always changing and adapting. So it was nothing different when I was told my first child, my daughter, she had autism. Now, I already knew because I saw the switch in her close to like about 1.5.
Wow.
Okay. And I lost eye contact, with her. She wouldn't look at me. Then she wouldn't chew. And then she started to be on her toes. And I said, ooh, that don't look right. Right. And as a parent, in your gut, Wow. So I just needed to get the diagnosis. I didn't know what it was, but I knew she was unique. Okay. You hear me, Kwanza? I knew she was.
Now, how old is she now?
My daughter is 12 years old.
Okay.
Now. She's 12.
Okay.
And my daughter, she's very unique because she's non-speaking. Okay.
Okay.
And when I tell people she's non-speaking, verbally, she cannot communicate. Okay. However, she used the AAC device, which is a communication device that stands for augmentative alternative communication.
Oh, wow.
Okay. It's a communication pathway that allows her to communicate what's up here.
Wow.
It don't come out here, but it comes out through the device. Now, that's a whole nother story we can get into, but that's the way she communicates with me. And I had to find that communication pathway for her. Okay.
Wow. So a quick question on that. Because a lot of times when you think nonverbal to someone ignorant, they would say, okay, so that's like that they're not processing thoughts but for her to be able to communicate through the device, she communicates like normally, if that's the right way to ask.
When I say normally, based on, for instance, she's able to put sentences together.
Right.
She's able to let me know her needs and wants, and because of her cognitive ability, she's 12, but she does not function as a 12-year-old.
Okay.
However, she's still able to communicate like, mommy, I want some juice. Mommy, come upstairs. Hello, mommy. Good night, mommy. So the thing with her is, I put it like this, a lot of people think because someone is non-speaking or non-vocal, they're not intelligent. My daughter is very intelligent, and they do have ideas. They do have thought, it's just getting them to understand that connection to that device, for them to understand that's your communication pathway. Okay.
Wow.
My daughter has swag. My daughter has personality. Okay. She might hit you with the bye Felicia. I still teach her. I teach her everything as if she was neurotypical.
I love that.
And our vibe, she say, "What's up, mommy?" So she's 12, but on the cognitive level, she's not. She doesn't function cognitively like a 12-year-old.
Okay.
But she's maybe like 6, 7. But but hey, the thing is, she communicates.
Exactly.
That's the main thing. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. And so you were talking about how you had to teach her how to communicate through the device, make the connection. And so she was how old when you had your son?
Okay. So my son came 3 years later.
Okay.
So, he did everything fast. Okay. He walked fast. I mean, he was reading words.
Wow.
And then he was talking, saying the words, but then it just got to a standstill. And that's like, okay, we didn't get past about 2 words. Okay. I said, something ain't right, but his autism, it peaked through differently.
Okay.
I had early intervention for both my children, and I also had them to come for him, like the infants and toddlers. So that's more like the early intervention services.
Okay.
So they first told me that, oh no, he's fine. His development is on path. I said, okay, but your gut again, because I already had one, even though it peaked through differently.
Right.
It was like his language should be a little bit better than this.
Okay.
And then I asked him to come back, and then that's where it was. Now his behaviors were different. He was a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more impulsive, than my daughter, So, and more of the meltdowns and tantrums, even though my daughter had it, but he was on a whole nother level. When I say a whole nother level. And then, like I said, once I took him in, I already knew, like you said, and then what happened was they watched him closely, because they saying like your first one, if your first child have autism, you have a higher chance that your second one may have it.
Really?
Then, I heard it, but I'm like, no, we be all right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But girlfriend, that I got 2 of them.
Wow.
And they're totally different. He's more verbal. He's verbal. And they're just totally different. So again, I'm in my house. I have to adapt to them in the instinct. I got to deal with her this way, deal with my son this way. But that's my life.
Wow. So before you had children, you had your own business. So how did I guess having your daughter first, how did that change your life, like your day-to-day life?
Oh, it changed. Oh, yeah, she changed the game for me. She changed my entire life.
Wow.
At that time, I was running a facilities management company. My background is mechanical engineering.
Okay.
So I had a government contracting company where I would maintain buildings, for government agencies as well as through private sector.
Right.
Now, once my daughter name is Darria, people say, what's the mama name? What's the mama name and what's the baby name? Okay, so I'm Darria. My daughter name is Darria. So hopefully she doesn't steal my credit card, because it's real easy for her to be able to steal my credit.
Exactly.
But I had to really, in the beginning, I was doing well, getting business. And the funny thing is, well, not funny, the interesting part is I just won like 5 contracts. Wow. 5 contracts. I had a base year with 4 options. So that's a 5-year contract, And however, I couldn't grow it after that. Couldn't grow it even more. So those contracts was a blessing.
Right.
So I think God knew. He's like, okay, I'm gonna give you this, because I need you to do something else for me down the road.
Right.
But this is the way you gotta process stuff, because that's the only way. Because again, if you let this tear you up or bring you down, so you got to look at it in an optimistic way.
Right.
So he said, okay, I'm gonna give you this, okay, and it's gonna sustain you, okay, but I got something else for you. So those contracts, when I say literally, saved my life. Wow. Because I was able to just manage it, and then after that, I really had to stop. I had to stop what I love to do, and being an entrepreneur, I love it. Again, it's the same thing every day. You don't know what's going to happen. You meet new people, networking, challenges. I love it. I thrive off that.
Yeah.
And for that to be taken away from me, because my first priority was to put my daughter on the best path to success, as well as for me to learn.
Exactly.
And understand the autism journey. I had to take care of myself. as well as taking care of my daughter.
Right.
Now, revamp my whole life. Now, I just told you I lost that one thing that I just knew I thrived to be.
Wow.
And then it's like the next day, once I got that diagnosis, and then once you realize, oh, I can't do this, it's gone. So imagine the mental state that you become in. Because I'm a competitor. That's all I've been doing. I've been competing 7 years old, playing basketball, going to college, being an entrepreneur. It's competition.
Right.
So you have to have that competitive mindset. And now the biggest competition was this autism. That's the biggest competitor that I really had to.
Right, exactly.
I had to grasp. But like in anything, what you have to do, Kwanza, you have to learn it.
Yeah.
You have to what? You have to study it. Okay. And you have to prepare yourself to be the best that you can be.
Right.
So that's what I had to do. So I went maybe about 3 or 4 years where I just had to really focus on her.
Right.
Okay.
You said something when we first met, and I absolutely love it. And I literally apply it now. You said that once you understand the principle, then you apply the principle. And that was so powerful for me. Like I literally adopted that and use that in everything that I do since meeting you a few weeks ago. That has become my thing. So when you talk about learning it, was that a part of that learning, was understanding it?
Yeah.
Figuring out the principle?
The principles of it, and when you realize, I tell people in life, the principles are the same in a lot of things in life. Okay. Preparation. Like you said, study. Okay. Being in the moment. Okay. Putting your best foot forward, understanding the situation. Okay. So
keeping a positive attitude, keeping a can-do attitude. Right. I love that.
So the principles, that's why I really don't think I ever processed my situation. Because when you have those skill sets, it's just instinct, it's just natural. It comes with it. So I already knew, okay, this is what I gotta do, because I like to solve problems, and find the solutions. You know what I'm saying? But again, that's engineering.
Exactly.
I'm very analytical. So that's where the principles part come in. As an engineer, we're analytical. Okay. So, and we understand that, hey, one equation can probably solve multiple problems. Okay. So again, those are the principles. So if you have the principles, just apply it to any and everything. So I had to do that when it came down to my daughter with autism.
Right.
Okay. So everything that I had to endure, all the principles that I had to learn, analytical. I gotta analyze. I gotta analyze my daughter. I gotta analyze the situation. So everything. That's how but that's how I flow. But that's why the stuff comes so easy to me, because I immediately go into, as I say, survival mode.
Right.
And when I go into survival mode, when I say, okay, how do I apply the principles?
So let's think about this, because I'm very visual. So as you're talking, I imagine you, before having your daughter, before pregnancy and all that, you're a go-getter. You're, taking the roads less traveled. You're setting up a space for yourself, creating a lane for yourself, just grind mode.
Grinding, living my life, girl. I'm trying to tell you.
Exactly. And so now you get pregnant, you go into that with the expectations that anybody is about to give birth to a child. You're planning and preparing what life is going to look like on the other side of that, not anticipating this addition, right? This additional step. So now you get the additional step, but you're still in grind mode. So you go into, let me figure it out. Let me, apply what I know, figure out how this fits into where I'm going. You do all of that. You learn your daughter, you learn her, I guess, where she is on the spectrum of autism. You start putting things in place. Now you got a rhythm going. You get pregnant again.
Pregnant again, like, look, okay, oh, this one right here. Yeah, we're going to do this again.
Exactly.
Like the first one, like the first one.
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking. And so now you have your son, and now the game changed, right?
It changed. Then it went to a whole nother level. Okay?
Right.
It went to a whole nother level. But Kwanza, like you just said, the principles.
Right.
I already had the principles.
Right.
So
Right.
I just had two. So I just had to share a little bit more.
Right. 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 Wow. So what was your,
Yeah.
because I know even for me, I'm sort of like you in the sense I always say that I'm problem solution. Like if anytime a problem is presented, I immediately go into how do we solve it? Like that's my makeup. Um, but then on the other end of that, sometimes we get so much into the problem solution of ourselves and that entrepreneur, that go get it attitude, that when we take a minute to breathe and check in with ourselves, did you get a chance to do that? And if you did, like, what was that process like?
I'm gonna tell you one story. This one situation popped it wide open for me. My daughter, okay, one thing, those who may have, autistic children, a lot of times they don't sleep. Okay. And I am one that I love myself. My husband tell you, they be like, oh, my wife, she loves herself. And I am not afraid to tell the world I love myself.
Right.
You have to love yourself. Okay.
Yes.
And one day she didn't sleep. And I'm like, oh my goodness. In the beginning, like I say, I thought I had to stay up with her, and you thinking like, okay, I'm going to sleep whenever she go to sleep. Kwanza, girl, let me tell you this. I was doing this for like a year or two. I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm delirious. I am freaking crazy around here. I can't remember nothing. I'm just like what? I don't know what day it is, because it's a lot going on. Okay. I woke up one day, I had this one big bag under my eye. That did it. Because I love myself. I said, little girl, that's what I talked to her. I said, little girl, one thing you're not gonna do is kill mom.
Right.
Because I have to be here for you. You know what I'm saying? And brother, and I'm like, what in the world? And I saw that bag under my eye. I said, oh no, we're not doing this. So right there, I went to, again, survival mode.
Right.
I take care of myself.
Right. I love it.
Self-care really, now, Kwanza, follow me on this one. That's when self-care smacked me in my face, because it was on my face.
But like a literal reminder, like, listen.
No, it really smacked, like somebody just told me, and I had that big puffy thing under my eye. So it really smacked me in my face. I tell you, this is no lie. I'm trying to tell you, okay? And I said, you know what? She got to get this. So I can't stay up with you all night. You got to figure it out. Right. And again, so then that's the way when I realized that, okay, just because my daughter's autistic, she has the ability to figure things out. Yes, now, on this case, she might have to figure it out. She might have to figure it out anyway, because I can't do it. I just can't do it no more. So again, now she's going to have to use some survival skill mode and then figure out how to take herself to bed. Because I can't do it like that no more, okay? Because they don't have a set schedule. I'm trying to tell you, And that's another thing in our journey. People be like, oh, girl, go ahead and put that girl to bed at 7, 8 o'clock. It don't work like that in my life, okay? They go to bed when they go to bed, okay? And that was my problem. I'm trying to stay up with her and party all night with her, okay? So, but then I'll let her be in her room. Because again, I learned my daughter. I studied my daughter. I knew she wasn't a roamer. She wasn't one that like hurt herself. So I said, I'm going to go ahead and just close your door and let you be. And to this day, my daughter learned how to put herself to bed. Now, tell me, like I said, sometimes you got to do what you have to do to what? Survive.
Exactly.
Okay? That right there popped it wide open for me and said, I can't be any good to her if I'm not available, if I'm not present, if I'm not healthy, okay? Because I have to be that example for her. I have to, Kwanza, I got to have energy.
Exactly.
Dealing with autistic kids, it takes a lot of energy.
Exactly.
And it's 90, probably 95% mental. It's a mental draining lifestyle. Okay?
So what do you talk about that? I know it's 95% mental. What does that mean? Right. That's like, wow.
It's mental. It's
a lot of strategizing, forward thinking, pre-planning, like that kind of mental.
That mental, always being, ready, because you don't know what you're gonna get.
Right.
Okay, our kids are very unpredictable. Trying to take them out to society, trying to teach them society, understanding a meltdown from a tantrum,
Oh, wow.
teaching them everything. They're very needy. They're needy because, again, a lot of them have motor skills. Like my daughter has motor skills development, lack of development, And I mean, teaching her, as we think some stuff comes natural. Again, my daughter had to learn how to chew. So I had to drive her to an outpatient therapy to teach her how to chew.
Wow.
So my daughter didn't even eat textured food to probably around about 7 years old.
Wow.
So she's eating food like parade food,
Right.
but I still had a 3-course meal though. So I had to parade her chicken.
Wow.
That's time. My daughter is allergic to everything. My daughter eats great. When I say she's probably a 12-year-old, she don't eat candy. She don't eat junk.
Wow.
She eats quinoa, sweet potatoes. Her foods have to be prepared.
Right.
I mean, every day fresh. I have to fix her lunch. Get up in the morning, heat the thermos up, prepare her foods because she's allergic to everything. It's time consuming. So I'm always doing something. So it's draining. It is mentally draining. And to teach her the life skills, to teach her stuff that may come easy or come with the regular development path of neurotypical people. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So you're teaching everything. My daughter didn't get potty trained to close to 9 years old. Okay. That's a whole nother story. So preparing, we're going in the car, taking her to stores where she might just have a meltdown because it might be overstimulated or too many people. She just didn't want to go. So, and my son, I had a runner. My son is a runner. He's running. Wow. My daughter flopping. She's great. So, and people look at me like, OMG.
So I mean, that's you said a lot.
A lot. So in that 95% mental, you're already mentally drained. Aren't you drained?
It is. I mean, it is a lot. I mean, things that you don't even think about, right? But as you're getting your rhythm with your daughter, now your son comes along. And I imagine for me in my mind, again, visual, it's like you're juggling, right? And so now somebody throws another ball into the rotation, not even just one ball, like 3 more balls into the rotation. So how did, now getting your rhythm with your daughter, now having your son, how did you have to readjust? Well,
I really had to do too much readjustment because I already had my mojo. I already knew how to do it. It's just now I just have to. So the only thing I really had to really tap into was okay, I can't get back to what I want to do until I'm gonna put it like this. It's going to take me a little bit longer to get back to what I want to do. Because again, at this time, I got my daughter where I wanted her to be. Okay.
Exactly.
So now I got to get back to what? My entrepreneur spirit. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I wasn't going to never give that up. I just had to put it on pause for a minute. Okay. So then when my son came, he ended up pausing it a little bit longer than what I wanted to be on pause. So I got him to where I was comfortable. And then now I'm back to my, entrepreneur goals and grind, So it's just that, again, you have to adapt. So I already had the skill sets to deal with it. A lot of times the mental part is ourselves, because if you're like me, I'm a go-getter.
Right.
And if somebody just taking that away from you and gets like you losing a sense of yourself, that's hard.
Right.
So again, that's the mental challenge that you have to endure every day, because you see that end game you want to get to, right? It's like, I got to get back to there. But it's like, it's a whole lot of stuff going on for me to get there.
So, but I met you, did you have to reimagine Darria? It's like you set off in life and you had this idea of who you are, what you plan to do with your life and all that. And then having to reimagine that, did you find yourself having to give up dreams, or did you just have to reimagine them?
I had to reimagine, but I had to reinvent it.
Okay.
And when I say reinvent it, now I'm still an entrepreneur, but now I'm building a nonprofit. So I had to think of something. What can I do to continue my entrepreneur spirit?
I love that.
My entrepreneurial grind. But I said, well, let me do something that I'm good at. Yes. You know, and I took myself on the back. I tell people I think I'm the best autism mom out here. Because if I don't believe it, my kids ain't gonna believe it. I'm just
I love it.
You know, and they'll tell you. And that's how I carry myself.
Right.
You know? But I love helping people. So I said, well, let me do something and reinvent and recreate something that I do every day, Kwanza. This is what I do every day.
Right.
So why don't I utilize my skill sets and help others out here, you know, and then bring my style. This is who I am. This is my style, my flow. And I think this was my flow allowed me to be who I am and to be able to be successful. Because I say I'm successful. And when I say I'm successful in my journey, because you know I'm living my journey.
Right.
Okay. I'm being myself. Okay. I'm doing what I want to do. Okay. My kids are happy. So that's where you got to get to a level where you say success. Success doesn't mean monetary. Okay.
Exactly.
Now, you know, I'm on my way, but that's not the most important part. Success is being happy with yourself and seeing your kids be happy and still seeing your kids thrive, just like any neurotypical family or child. Because one people, you know, I always, you know, when I tell people, because when you first meet me, you would never know I had special needs children.
Right.
Okay. Again, I take care of myself. Okay. So again, you can't judge a book by its cover.
Right.
So if you meet me, you're gonna be like, oh, okay, that's Darria, she got it going on. Okay, yeah. So then when I tell people, oh, I got 2 special needs kids, Kwanza, people mouth this drop. They like, for real? Right. But you don't look like it. I know, because after I got that first bag, I would never look like that again. I tell you that.
And that is so beautiful, because when I met you, of course, you're fly. Yeah, right? So it's just like, okay, she fly.
Well, hold on, Kwanza. No, I ain't fly. That's too fly today, because I told you I was gonna put you on glasses. Kwanza did not tell me that this was going to be. It was audio as well as, you know, visual. You know what I'm saying? So I just came here like, okay, they're gonna hear my voice. So they really didn't see the fly me, but I'm still fly, but not the real fly.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, well, even when you showed up, I was like, no, you look great. And you're like, well, let me at least put a gloss on, put some earrings on. I'm like, okay. But you're beautiful. I mean, you have just this light just about you in any way. So like, just you showing up is a beautiful presence, a beautiful, you know, presentation. So you don't have to do too much on the external, because your beauty from the inside just really resonates. And I want to tell you that even when I met you, like I said, you were, you know, dressed up and, you know, but it was more about just like your energy and your presence. You know, you showed up, you were very transparent, sharing your story, and, you know, open to questions and, you know, all of that stuff. Sorry, my dog is having a nightmare. Open to questions and all that stuff. And what I love about you, Darria, is that I've talked to parents who have children, not even 2 children, may have 1 child who's, you know, on a spectrum with autism. And there is like this heavy burden kind of posture that they take. And it's almost like it's really very serious and very burdensome and very, you know, there's like this, you know, I hate keep using the word energy, but there's this energy that's upon them, right? But you are so free and you are so, I mean, just alive, that I think you have, for me, changed the face of what an autism parent looks like a parent with autistic children look like, because you have like this light and this life and this energy within you. So I think other parents, other moms, and even dads might see this and say, okay, I can be myself, right? Who I was before I was this parent, full blown, all energy, fully myself, and just bringing and adopting this new part of my life into my life, right? I don't have to lose myself or break myself to be something else. And I love how you talked about with your daughter. And that was like that was like that light bulb moment where it felt like maybe you was allowing her to lead you. And then it's like, nope, hold up. You know, I was here first. I had this whole thing. So I'm gonna need you to figure out how, like, we're gonna figure it out together. but I'm not going to lose myself in this. And I think that's such a powerful story. So I appreciate you sharing that.
No, now that was a bomb setup you just did just now. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. But you know what? You nailed it.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna piggyback on that. In this journey, and when you said a lot of other parents, it look like it's burdensome, you know, right. It's like it's hard. You have to accept it. That's the key. A lot of parents still haven't accepted it.
Wow.
Okay? They're still grieving because it's not what they expected, you know. And it's anything in life. Some things come to us, we don't expect it. But when I tell you, when you accept it, Kwanza, when I tell you, you're free. I'm free.
Yes.
My kids have autism. The world knows my kids have autism. Okay. Now you might look at them, as they say, they don't, you know, people like, well, they don't look like it. It's no look to it.
Right.
Okay? But if you be around them, you be like, yeah, there it is. And it's, again, that's who they are.
Right.
I laugh at them. They have quirky behaviors. They are who they are, but you know what? They are people.
Yeah.
Okay. They are people that deserve to be loved.
Yes.
They are people that deserve to have the best opportunities. Okay. And me as that parent, because I was that chosen parent. Okay.
Right.
So I'm that parent that's supposed to be like, you know what? We're going to roll with this. Right. And I tell you, me and my kids swag, we got a swag on us like, hey, oh, we up in the building. Yeah, we here. That's right. We might navigate a little different, you know what I'm saying? But my kids are different, but they're still able.
Yeah.
Okay, let me go ahead and reiterate that. They're different, but they're still able. Okay.
I love that.
So people look at us. I don't care nobody looking at me and my kids, okay? Because we probably got more swag than everybody out here anyway. Okay. And that's the way I teach my kids. Okay.
Right.
And again, and I'm loving my kids and teaching my kids just as if they was neurotypical. Yeah. What has to change? The only thing that has to change is I'm just going to meet them where they are.
Yes.
Just like any other normal parent. Again, if you have neurotypical kids, you're going to meet your kids where they are, right? Ain't right,
exactly. Kwanza? Absolutely.
And then you're going to go. You move from there. Okay. Exactly. Now, I may have to meet my kids a little bit different, like I said, because where they are, you know, but the same principle is still the same because everybody where you meeting them at is going to be at different levels.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. Okay.
Exactly.
Now, also the kicker is, okay, we got to stop being selfish. Okay. And when I say stop being selfish, yes, that's the way you thought your life was going to be. But I tell people, it's not going to be like that. Get over it. Reinvent yourself. And the thing is, find happiness another way. Okay. Yeah. Because happiness doesn't have to be that one way which you thought it was going to be.
Right.
Because if you keep trying to look at that picture that you thought was going to be that picture, it's dooming. And that's where the frustration comes in that. And that's where people, they can't get over that because they keep looking at that picture.
Right.
That picture, they like, I'm trying to get to that picture, but I'm trying to tell you, you ain't gonna never get to that picture. Okay, because I'm real, because your kids ain't gonna be like them kids in that picture that you want them to be.
Exactly.
Okay? So what you need to do is decorate another picture, okay, to make it even more colorful, to make it be even more vibrant, okay, to make it better than that first picture. So that's the attitude, because that picture that I had before don't even exist to me no more, because the picture that I have now is better than that first picture. So that's the attitude that I take. And my friends, this is me.
I love it.
And, you know, and that's the way my kids, because again, your kids are still watching you.
Right.
Okay. And my kids think I'm crazy. Okay. And they be like, mommy on a whole nother level. That's right. Because we're gonna all be on a whole nother level.
Yes.
Because it's y'all that I'm on this level. So I gotta be there. And then I gotta have all this energy because of y'all. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I my kids that way, and they just laugh, and my kids have personality.
Yes. Okay?
And we're going to navigate. And another thing, you have to find your balance. Yes. And one thing I said, autism, Kwanza, is a part of my life.
Right.
It's not my life. So it's a pie chart. I'm a wife. Right. I still have to be you know, responsible as being a wife, my husband, because that's a whole nother level right there. Okay?
Right. Exactly.
And then people tell me, well, you don't look stressed. Well, I ain't stressed. I mean, my stress probably come from my husband more than my kids. You know what I'm saying? But that's my personality. My husband,
Exactly.
we love each other. We are soulmates.
And he's probably more like subtle, more.
Yeah, he's my
that's
calm.
how my husband is. He's like, yes.
He's my calm. He like
yes.
this. My husband, all my husband do like all he does like that. He shake his head like, But I'm excited.
I would say my husband, he's like the calm to my storm. Because for me, it's like, I'm just like, there's always a brilliant idea. I'm always like, oh, I can do that, you know? And I'm always like, like today, I'm like, I have all these ideas, like, oh, I'm gonna do this today, you know? And my husband is kind of like he's like the peace. It's like, okay, you know? And so no matter how frantic I am, like, oh, babe, blah, 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 he's kind of like, okay, like he just brings it. So you need that yin and that yang, that balance. Or talking about balance, you need that kind of balance as well.
You need that balance.
Yeah.
And you need to find that balance as well during this journey.
Exactly. So when you say life is like a pie chart, you started saying that. And I imagine you were going to divide that into I'm a wife, I'm a mother, and so I didn't want to lose your train of thought with that one.
Yeah. Right. So, you know, I'm a wife, I'm a mother. Okay. I'm an entrepreneur, you know, I am myself, you know, so I have to put my self-care in there. So you have to figure out that balance. Sometimes your pie chart, it's going to change.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. Kwanza, what's different in your life than my life? I still have to prioritize. Exactly. I still have to be available. I still have to be present. You know, I still have to have that energy, you know, especially if you want to be successful, you know.
Exactly.
And so sometimes it changes, you know, depending on what's going on. Sometimes I may have to dedicate more time to my children. Exactly. And then because something's always gonna take a back seat. That's life. It doesn't matter. That's life.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, so that's the way I was trying to explain that. But no, like I said, me being an autism mom does not define who I am. I just have autistic children. Okay. That's it. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And you talked about, you said they're neurotypical.
Neurotypical.
Mm-hmm. How does that impact like them socially, or does it?
No, neurotypical is what society says is normal. So my children, they're not. Yeah. So when I say they're compared to neurotypical people. So neurotypical is considered as, you know, we say normal.
Right.
You know. Yeah. So we're in our word called neurodiverse.
Okay. I like that.
So in our words, neurodiverse.
I like that.
So yeah, what was your question? I'm sorry.
So how are they socially? Like they both go to school, right?
Yes.
And so how is that, and how do they?
Well, yeah, they both go to school, and my daughter, she's not really like a real social person. No, when she's out, again, she can go to school. She could be amongst her peers. She has inclusion, where she's able to get that type of social interaction with neurotypical peers. Okay. My son, he's a little bit more social, but again, now he's learning. I have to teach that as well. So both my kids, I have to teach them the social dynamics of situations. Okay. Because again, it's the way they process things.
Right.
But my son, it's like he's watching, he's trying. So sometimes if a peer come up to him, it's like, hold up, they're going too fast, because my son's still trying to process, you know, but it's like he's trying to get in the mix now, which is a great thing. You know, he's trying, and I'm looking at him, go ahead, boo, do your thing. Right. But then they're like, oh yeah, they're going too fast, Mom. And I'll be like, but he's trying to figure it out. And that's one thing I always tell him, just keep trying. You know, keep trying. But I also have to, again, work with him, you know, and teach him the social dynamics of, you know, what to look for, and try to help him understand how to respond to certain situations. So I'm always teaching, you know. My daughter, she's going to the preteens. My daughter, she could be by herself and be fine. Right. You know, and she's happy. Right. You know, again, we have to realize that, you know, you may think, okay, well, I want my daughter to be out there with the girlfriends and that's not my daughter. And I'm okay with that. You know, as long as my daughter is happy with who she is and what she likes to do. Again, that picture. Exactly. You know, you had that picture like, well, my daughter gonna be out there at the mall, they're gonna be doing this with girlfriends and doing this. Nah, That ain't gonna be my picture. My picture's
Exactly.
gonna be like, okay, there she goes to school. But no, she gets invited to parties and stuff like that. So
Oh,
she does get that interaction,
okay.
but it looks different, but it's not what I thought it was gonna be, or what sometimes
Right.
as parents thought it was gonna be.
Right.
But who cares? She's happy.
Exactly. And then I'll tell you, that's like, as you're talking, I have a son and a daughter. My son is the oldest, but it's the same thing. You have this idea for your children. I remember my daughter, this was like, I wanted her to model. Like, this was during America's Next Top Model. And I used to be like, oh, baby, you can do that, And she must have been like maybe 7 years old. And she looked at me, she's like, Mom, that's not what I have. That's not the dream I have for my life. That's your dream. And it was like, okay,
Okay.
like out of the mouth of babes, but it's the same thing. Like you said, they have their ideas, or we have our ideas of who we want them to be. And then the reality of who they want to be, like, kind of has to, or who they are kind of matches into, we have to adjust. But you mentioned something like the things that she liked to do with your children. Have you identified? I know for me, it was really important for me to identify like the things that my children enjoyed. So like my daughter loved drama and my son loved sports, and so really trying to find the things that they enjoy and then cultivate them in that space. Have you identified, like, for your children, what are their things that they enjoy?
It's different. Not
Okay.
so, however, my daughter, she loves to swim,
Oh, wow.
So that's something that she loves. It helps with her sensory input.
Right.
She loves to just, she loves her iPad,
Yeah.
She loves, she loves being out, like doing like walking and stuff like that.
Okay.
My son, he's put it like this. He's getting it, so now he's acting like he into some sports. So, I'm putting him in there, you know what I'm saying? I'm an athlete too. Again,
Exactly.
so now you got two. Now both their parents are athletes. My husband, a former football player, and I play basketball. So we like, okay, we got
Right.
we like, oh shucks, when we have our kids, they're gonna be athletic.
Right.
And we got two, but neither one of our kids got athleticism right now. Okay,
Well,
but
that's women might, that's women can turn into, yeah.
But again, what we determine as being athletic.
Exactly.
Usually what the main sports is, what? Football.
Basketball, right.
Especially in the African American community, the Black community. Okay,
exactly.
let's be real. We're gonna be real today.
Yes.
So the swimming is like, again, that picture.
Right.
I'm like, oh man, basketball, that's my thing. And my husband like football, but it's like, hold up, that picture doesn't look like this.
Right.
However, swimming is a sport, and swimming is probably harder than what we did.
Absolutely.
Okay? You know what I'm saying? But they're still doing athletic activities, and it's swimming,
Exactly.
So again, I'm learning, and then I'm learning what swimming is, because my son said he wants to be on the swim team. So again, it might not look like this,
exactly,
like that, but it's still the same. Okay. But it's what they want to do.
Exactly.
And my son, he wants to be an astronaut.
Oh.
But I told me, you gotta go to school. You gotta do good in school to be an astronaut. If I say do good in school, now he's a smart little boy. It's like, say, his behaviors and stuff. But I have fun with it. My son is 9. So again, it's not that serious. Again, because my journey's a little bit different. My journey is to try to prepare him as best as possible based on what he can do. Exactly. Now, I'm never going to steal his joy. You know what I'm saying? And never going to say he can't do that, because he can do it, but I like to have fun with it. I say, well, bud, now if you're going to be an astronaut, you got to go to school and sit down in your seat and listen to the teacher. You know what I'm saying? So, and he just laughs and stuff like that,
But it's funny because, like I said, I love how you approach life, and I think you're really going to help so many people. I'm like looking forward to people that I know who have children with autism, and I think just seeing this and hearing your story and laughing with you and laughing, as you're laughing, as you're telling the stories, I think it will really free and take that burden off of some people. And I think this is such a brilliant conversation, and you're such a your life and your approach to it is absolutely brilliant. in its authenticity, right? Like you're not setting out to be, oh, let me do it different. You're doing it the way, from a place that you are, which is beautiful.
No, you have, again, you have to accept it.
Yeah.
And then this is the funny part. And you have to accept that it's a hot mess. It's a hot mess. No, it is a hot mess. But you have to accept that. Right. Okay. My life is a hot mess. I already accept it. You know what I'm saying? So when you accept it, I guarantee people around you going to accept it. Exactly. My friends, my family, they already know. All right, it's a hot mess. So they flown with it too. So I'm not one that's trying to compare my kids to other kids. Exactly. Okay, my kids are who they are. Okay. Exactly. Okay. My life and my journey is what it's going to be. Okay. Right. And I tell people it is a hot mess. But we know what? We're going to have fun with this hot mess. And because Kwanza, the thing is, when I wake up every morning, we all have to be what? Grateful. Yes. We have to be grateful for what we have. Okay. Now, when I wake up, I just say thank you. Now, amen. I don't know what's going to happen that day. Because again, I don't know how my kids going to respond to anything. Right. They can go to school, work out. I don't know. I might get that phone call because my life is always on the edge. I just don't know. Know what's going like today. My daughter, I tell you no lie, today I got a phone call right before the podcast that my daughter fell in gym. Oh, had to go to the nurse office, and she was holding her elbow, but apparently she got full range of motion. She's fine. Okay, I ain't jumping up at that school. She's fine. So then I just emailed the teacher. I got a call from the the nurse, right. And they said, "Oh no, she's fine." I know my kids; they're fine. Exactly. And we have to stop coddling them. I don't coddle my kids, because they are labeled with what? Special needs, or they're labeled with the diagnosis. And but let me also say that this is very important to me. Mm-hmm. See, a lot of families, they get hooked up on our diagnosis. That's the problem. The diagnosis don't mean nothing to me. Okay. The diagnosis, again, we all have labels. I was labeled when I was conceived. I was labeled what? Being Black. I was labeled being a woman. So we all have labels. Who cares about the labels? Okay. I just needed that diagnosis. That's the ticket for me to get resources. Right. I don't look at my kids as a diagnosis. I look at my kids as Darria and Dalton. I don't care nothing about that. I don't care. Right. Okay. So again, I'm free. Yeah. When I love it. I am free. Okay. So I wake up every morning, just like you have kids. I wake up, I have 2 kids. I wake up in the morning, get ready for school, just like you get ready for school. Okay. So I'm gonna live my life just like as if they didn't even have that diagnosis. Right. That label. Exactly. Okay. So but again, it's your mindset. And we have to shift our mindsets to say, you know what? Okay. Yeah, my children have, as society say, a diagnosis. Right. Because again, we got to have diagnosis to get these resources. Right. You can't just walk up to somebody and say, okay, can I have speech therapy? Okay, well, why do you need speech therapy? Right. Oh, because my child needs this. Again, they need a rapper. They need that referral, right? Yeah. They need that ticket, right, Kwanza? So again, anything and everything. That's like you go somewhere and you have high blood pressure. You need to have that referral, whatever, from that doctor, so you can get that get that medicine, right? Exactly. So the principle. Exactly. That's what I was going to say. I love how you look at it. Like this, it really is like your viewpoint, your vantage point. And I think a lot of people can learn by adopting or even considering to look at it differently. I love that so much. And I know time always gets these great conversations. There's never enough time to have the conversations. But I want to ask you to do 2 things before we go. Okay. One, if there's something that you want to share, like with, a family that maybe just got a diagnosis that their child has autism, like what kind of advice will you want to give? And then the second thing, if you can do, is tell us, what do you have going on next? Okay. Well, the first thing I would like to tell families who just got that diagnosis, number 1, it's okay. Yeah. Okay. It's okay. All right. And to accept the situation. I guarantee once you accept it, okay, and just continue to live your life. And I say it's going to be different. Yeah. But you have to navigate and find your swag. I tell people, you got to find your flow. Okay. and take it one day at a time.
Amen.
That's all you can do. Okay. So that's what I wanted to, but that A word, acceptance, that's it.
Yeah, I love that.
Now, the second part of your question is what I got going on.
Yeah.
As you said, I had to reinvent myself, Kwanza, you know what I'm saying? Now I have a nonprofit called The Autism Grind, where myself and my good friend, her name is Dawn Allen, and we went to college together, went to Howard University together, and she too have a son with autism. Okay. Now we started this organization together, and the beauty of it is when I say when you accept it and you continue to move forward, we just received a grant. We just received our first grant from the art. And what we're going to do, the program is to reach out to the non-speaking population. Okay. And so that's what we're doing. So I'm building this nonprofit because I want to help families who may be having some challenges. Because again, I don't want people to think that I don't have any challenges. That's not the picture I'm trying to paint. Okay. Because in life, we all have challenges. Okay. It's just how I deal with my challenges. I just choose the fact that I ain't gonna let these challenges defeat me. That's it. You know. But again, we are building the nonprofit, The Autism Grind. Also, we have a platform monthly, you know, because sometimes life getting our way, we might miss a month. But we have this Facebook Live where we want caregivers, therapists, anybody who deals with autism or just special needs, period. It's a space where we have fun, we have a good time, we authentic, and we talk about the journey. Okay. We are raw, and I tell people we are the triple R threat. We are real, and we are raw, and when I say raw, we're gonna keep it 100 with you. And we are relatable. We are two special needs parents that's actively living this journey. So we ain't sitting up here making this stuff up. Okay. So, but again, you have to what? Embrace it. You have to open up your mind and accept it. Okay. So that's what I got going on now. Also, I do have a book. Also, I have a book coming out 2023. Okay. You have to look for that. Okay. So no, matter of fact, you got to have me back to discuss.
Absolutely.
That's gonna be the one. I can't tell you what the book name is now because I don't want to give it up. That's going to get me back on your show. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. I love it so much. And I have literally goosebumps, and I love when I have just that feeling because I get the chance to kind of go back and re-listen to this over and over again, because there's so much that you talked about that I think not only applies to parenting autistic children, but I think it applies to parenting children in general. And I think it also applies to just navigating your life. So there's a life lesson that anybody can learn just through this conversation. So Darria, I thank you so much. And I love your children's name is Darria and Dalton.
And then my husband's name is Desmond. So we the house. Oh, wow. I love it. We just live life. I don't even know what we're doing. Sometimes I don't even know what we're doing over here. What we doing?
I love it. Thank you so much. And I'm definitely going to have you back when you are ready to talk about your book. I can't wait. Anything I can do to help, we'll talk about that offline. But I'm super excited. I thank God that I got to meet you and that I know you.
Thank you. And I look forward same here. Yeah. Same here. And I appreciate your platform. This is really, really, this is an awesome platform. Amen. And I love the vibe. I love how, like you say, it's not heavy, because we got a heaviness in the world as well. But I think this is a platform where you bring in that authenticity out of, people, and just letting people know that, hey, we can talk. And then look, talking is important.
Absolutely.
As you say, therapy is important, and just me having this conversation is therapeutic for me. So you help me, in my journey, because I'm able to share. I'm able to, have this, as we say, like girlfriend conversation. I'm loving the vibe, and I appreciate it.
Amen. And the thing about it really is just that exchange. And it's not only the conversation that we're having, but it's the conversation that will continue as our viewers are watching this podcast and listening to your story and listening to your experience, and then sharing it with their friends, and then their friends sharing. Like, it really is a community of women just helping each other navigate life. And that really is what Girlfriend Therapy at the very heart and at the very core, that's what it's all about. It's just women,
Exactly.
like, how are you doing this thing called life? And what can I glean from you to help make my journey a little bit easier, right?
It is. And that's what we need to do. Like I said, we are a community. We got to find ways where we can empower each other.
Exactly.
And that's one thing I do stand for, empowerment, inspiring each other. And that's more of the platforms that we need to, create.
Absolutely.
Create a space. But one more thing, Kwanza, before I leave, I got to tell people where to meet me on social media. They can go on Facebook, The Autism Grind. That's the page. Also, we have the Autism Grind group, where if you just sign, request to be, and then you'll be accepted. And then we are on Instagram. Now, if you want to see how my family, how we flow, go to @the THE Autism AUTISM Grind, GRIN as in Nancy, D as in David. So that's where you can find us. That's where we popping.
Perfect. And I'm gonna put all that on the, when we package this up, all that will be, the links and everything will be included. So but thank you again so much, Darria. This has been an amazing conversation. I look forward to hearing more. Blessings to you. May God continue to increase you and enlarge your territory, and just that you may be able to be a blessing to so many other people, because your light in your life is important. And I think people really need to see more of it. So may He just continue to enlarge your territory, enlarge your presence, increase your footprints, that, everything that your organization, your children, your family will not have want or need for anything, but that all that you need and you'll have need for will be provided. So thank you for sharing your time and sharing your story. Blessings.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you guys so much for joining us. This has been a great conversation. Thank you guys so much. I think this is episode 49, I think. So
49.
Yes, we are coming to the wire here. So blessings to you guys. And until next time, blessings.
Yes. Thank you.